Hi guys, after learning how to customize the MetaHuman, it is but natural to make it want to do things and to capture those movements cinematically. And that is exactly where the Unreal Engine sequencer comes into play. Let's dive in. So now I'm inside my level. I'm just using this free level called Mediterranean Coasts. I found it on the Fab Marketplace, and this is only for demonstration purposes and to add just an extra layer of difficulty, realism, say whatever. So I'm just going to drop my MetaHuman into my level, the one that we made in the previous tutorials. And what I'm trying to do is, I'm just going to make him walk on this path. So for that, I need to use a thing called the sequencer. So I just go here, I click add level sequence. It prompts me to give it a name. I'm going to name it as test tutorial sequence. And I'm going to save it in my sequences folder. This pane shows me my tracks, like all the characters that I want to add to the sequencer. And this part plays like any non-linear editor like After Effects, Premiere Pro, which will show my active video, audio tracks from left to right. And this is my frame number. This is where the sequencer starts, and this is just going frame by frame. And I also do a few other handy things, like I set my in point, it's usually set at a 0, and the out point here is set at 150. That is a project setting that it's giving me 150 frames to animate. If I want to animate something that's longer than this, I'm pressing the control and my scroll wheel to zoom in and out of this pane, the timeline view, and I can just left click and drag this to get myself more frames. Also here in the playback options, I've made sure that I have a scrubbing thing going on. Keep playhead in the playback range while scrubbing. So this makes sure that the playback while you're scrubbing your timeline, it's not going outside this range. And sometimes it's easy to get lost here in this timeline because there's no end to the number of frames that you can put here. You can also restrict the number of frames you want to see, but if you press Control and your scroll wheel, this number can change rapidly. Also, I can press Shift and my scroll wheel to just horizontally scroll my timeline. So with that being said, I'm going to add my MetaHuman because this is the character I want to animate. So whatever in my level that I need to animate needs to be put inside the sequencer here. So this is like the animation sandbox. Oh, this is something that brings all our Unreal actors to life. This is the missing juice. So currently I want to animate this actor, so I can either drag and drop this like this, and you'll see as soon as I drag and drop any actor inside the sequencer, it changes to animation mode. But the other way of doing it is that I just click on add actor track and select. Again, you'll see that it has switched on to animation mode. It is automatic. It's gonna give me this anim layers thing. We are not gonna cover animation layers. It's a thing for later. So let's just close out of it. And you will see that it has given me these nice gizmos, control handles on the MetaHuman. So if I click on any of these handles, for example, this is a body control, and I just rotate it, you'll see that it is actually applying the movement progressively to all other joints, which are being affected by this. And now I can also rotate this. I can change my gizmo by pressing W or E for rotation, and I can move things around. Same applies to any joint, any control that's available, and there are like minute finger controls. Also, if I'm very close to my MetaHuman and if I want my camera scroll speed to be absolutely less, I'm just going to press my right mouse button and I'm just going to take the scroll wheel back. Like I can bring the scroll wheel down while pressing the right mouse button. It has really slowed down my camera speed. But if I just take it up, like scroll up while keeping my mouse button pressed, camera is really fast. So I have controls for the fingers, see, and so on. But anyhow, we are not working with the control rig, we are working with pre-recorded animations. So I'm just going to control click on the MetaHuman control rig and the face control bolt rig, and I'm going to press delete. Also, before I apply any animations, I just have to go back in my content folder and make sure that I just right click here, click on add feature or content pack. And from here, I select my third person and I'll just add this to project. And once this is done, you'll find this characters folder. And if you go inside it, you'll find mannequins, you'll find animations. I'll go on anims. And these are the different kinds of animations that we find. So we're going to look at some unarmed animations. We are not going to do any props in their hands for now. So I'm just going to use a simple jog or a walk cycle. So I'm going to use an unarmed walk forward. So I'm going to double click on this. And the interesting part is it opens all the other animations that are available. So to quickly do this, I'm going to mix two animations and make you understand how we can blend two different kinds of animations to get interesting motions on our MetaHuman. So I'm just going to right click on this and say retarget animations. And automatically I'm in Unreal Engine 5.6. This applies to 5.4 and above, if I'm not wrong, maybe 5.5 and above, that it gives you a dedicated retargeter as soon as you just right click on any animation. The idea to retarget is because these animations are on this Mani skeleton, which is default to the Unreal Engine content pack, and we have made a MetaHuman skeleton. Like ours is a different skeleton, it's a MetaHuman DNA. So we just need to retarget the animation on this skeleton to our MetaHuman skeleton. Bear in mind, it's the skeleton that we apply the animations to, not the skeletal mesh. So the source skeleton inside the skeletal mesh is of importance. So here I'm just going to type my walk, unarmed walk forward, and I'm going to select my target skeletal mesh here. I'm just going to type my MetaHuman's name, Aman. I'm going to select the body mesh. These are my combined skeletal meshes. If you have been following my other tutorials, these were done to fit clothes for Marvelous designers. But just to be absolutely safe, it's best to apply retarget the animations to the body skeleton of the MetaHuman and not the combined skeleton. This can give you some artifacts. It works for some people, but it has given me problems. So I'm just going to use the body mesh. And if I just double click on it, so I have the animation with me. So I'm just going to export my animations. I've made a folder for it, root anim, and I'm just going to I'm just going to give it a prefix so that I know that it's a retargeted animation for my tutorial series. Also, I'm just going to add one more animation to it, which is the attack animation. Same. And the best thing about this retargeter is that it gives me all the animations available inside for the source skeletal mesh that are there, and these can be retargeted to any other available skeleton inside my project. So once this is done, I'm going to export it. So once this is done, I'm just going to go back in my Roots Anim folder just to show it to you guys. So this is my walk. This is my attack. And don't worry about it. This is a stone that I had attached to the MetaHuman skeletal blueprint to figure out some physics things. So this stone is something that you can ignore. You don't have to look at this rock. This is something that I was doing beforehand and it has just shown up. This is not going to affect the original animation, so don't worry about it. And you shouldn't be seeing this rock. So yeah, we are good. So once all of this is done, I come back here into my sequencer in my level, my MetaHumans here. I'm just going to click on the body. I'm going to click on this plus button. I'm going to go into animation. I'm going to write my prefix. Here's my walk forward. I'm going to select this. Also, I'm going to bring this back to 0. And you see that again, as I mentioned, like non-linear editors, this can be moved around like clip. So this is the length of the animation. So this is around, starts at around 46, goes till 90. It's around 40-45 frames. So I'm going to just bring it back to 0. Yeah, it's 45 frames. And this is my playhead. I can just left click and scrub through it. So if I just play, this is what you will see. Also, as soon as your animation stops playing, you'll see that the MetaHuman is missing its head and the head just kind of detaches from the body. This is a very common Unreal Engine, you can say it's a signature. Whenever we are using animations without the control rig, this is a common thing. As soon as the animation ends, you'll see this. Don't worry, this does not affect anything. And this is not a problem at all. Yeah, but obviously I want my character to walk further. I want him to walk till at least maybe that point or that rock, or at least around that rock. So what I'm going to do is I would naturally want to extend these animations, and you'll see that as I extend them, I'm going to press Ctrl and my scroll wheel again, Shift and my scroll wheel to scroll horizontally. Please make sure that your playhead is around the point you want to zoom in and out around. So you'll see that after every 45 frames, it's going to give me this dotted line. That means it's repeating the animation sequence. So once this has happened, I'm going to play this. You'll see in a moment. You're seeing that the character is snapping back to its root position. So this is a root motion animation. That means it has an origin, a root from where the movement starts and the character keeps snapping back. So there are two ways to handle this. I'll show you the way that I use the most. So I'm gonna bring it back to the original animation, 45 frames, just checking. Yeah, so this is my original animation and I want my character to just continue walking. Also, you're seeing that he's going off the floor. This is because my road has an incline, it has a slope, and the animation was recorded on a flat ground. So that is why he's walking flat. So nothing to worry about it. We'll fix this in a minute. So I will just bring my playhead to the last frame where this animation ends, and I'm going to go back to my animation track here. Make sure that I'm in the same animation track and not the body track this time to make these kind of loop. So animation plus button, I'm going to select the same unarmed walk here again, but again it's the root problem, like it's snapping back. So the best way to go about this is that I'm going to go to the last frame of my first animation clip somewhere here, and I'm going to see that okay, this is the right foot and the left foot. I can press my arrow keys left and right to just jog between frames, and I'll see that okay, this is where he's going back, this is the last proper frame of the previous animation clip. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click on my next clip. I'm going to right click on this. I'm going to go to match this bone in the previous clip. I'm going to click on foot. I'm going to type foot and foot_L. This is the left foot, and boom, I have matched it. Now when I play, you'll see that he is walking in a straight line now. Now please bear in mind that since this is a simple walk animation, I could match it with the foot, and this is not a thumb rule. I mean, depending on how you are blending 2 or 3 different animations, so we use significant joints like the foot in this case. Sometimes it could be the head, sometimes it could be the body. So, and here I have matched my next clip to my previous clip's last frame. Sometimes you will have to match your previous clip to the next clip's first frame. So in that case, I don't know if this will work here, but if I undo everything, just bring back my animation, and yeah, it's snapping back. So if I bring it here, this is not going to work because I want it to go forward. So in this case here, if I select the first frame here and just say, I'm like match this bone to the next clip, put L. See, this has not worked in this case. So it takes some time understanding that which bone we can match. We can match any bone, and just depending on how the motion, which direction the motion is headed, should give you an idea of how to go about this. So I'm going to come back to my last frame here, go to the next clip, match this bone with the previous clip, use my foot L, and yeah. So I just want him to walk a little more, maybe just for one more cycle. I'm going to do the same, click on animation, go to my walk, and if it throws the animation on a separate animation track, you can just click and drag it, left click and drag it on top and bring it back, and again you'll see the same root motion problem happening here. So we do the same thing, match this bone in the previous clip, use foot L, and now if I scrub, I have a nice walk cycle. The next thing that we would want to do is to, let's watch him from this side. So next thing we'll want him to do is to just snap to the floor and be on the floor and not like kind of take off like this. So I'm just gonna come back here, just gonna see if he's on the floor. He is. When my playhead is on the starting at frame 0, I'm gonna go back to body, click on the plus button and add a transform track. And transforms are nothing but simple rotation and location keyframes that we can add to our MetaHuman, and these keyframes would layer on top of the existing animation. So when he's walking forward, obviously I also want him to just adhere to the path a little bit. The path is also not straight. So here he's on the ground, hopefully. Yes. So I'm just gonna go slowly, frame by frame. And after 2 frames, I see that, okay, he's kind of going off the ground. So I'm just going to bring him back a little. So I'm just going to keyframe all my transforms here. Open location and rotation. We don't need to use scale on MetaHumans. And I'm just going to jog my Z rotation because Z, Y, and X. It's written here. Green is Y, Z is up, blue, and X is red. So Y is forward and Z is up. So I'm just going to bring him down at least on the floor a little bit. Maybe just use a little bit of the roll, maybe just a tad bit. Bring him up. See, the foot contacts don't have to be perfect because you'll throw in some Cine Camera Actors for this to happen nicely. So once this has happened, we will frame these animations using cameras, so we won't be looking at the feet all the time. It just has to be believable and not perfect. So once this is done, I will see that he's moving, he's going off path as well. So I want him to stay on path, maybe from this point. So what I'll do is I'm gonna add more keyframes here. I'm gonna change his yaw a little bit. I can also do it from here, but since I've made so many changes to my project in project settings, this is not working. Otherwise, this is the auto key button. This is always activated, and whenever I make any changes using my gizmo too, this usually works. So I can make these changes using this gizmo as well, and it should work, hopefully. So it's taken a bit of a turn. It's pretty dramatic, but it's okay. Maybe I can make the yaw a little less. It's too much. Maybe a little less, and at 0 I could maybe just bring him a little in so that he starts from here. And now if I press play, much better, he's on the path. So now I just have to adjust his Z a little bit, let him walk forward. Let me see if he's going on the ground. I can always, yeah, he's off ground even here. Let's bring him back. Z, he's going up again, bring him back, give him a little bit of a very tiny roll. Yeah, again moving forward and bring him to the ground. So if I look now, obviously there's foot sliding and there are micro corrections that we can do, and obviously animation needs a lot of cleanup, especially around the feet, but at least this is believable enough. So for the purposes of this tutorial, maybe I can just change my yaw a little bit. This is kind of weird. I can maybe bring him in a little more here so that it feels more believable. Okay, let's give him a little bit of a pitch as well, like if he's turning this side. Also, maybe turn him a bit like this here. Let him turn his body. Keyframe. The yaw is actually making everything look really bad. Yeah, this is better. What I can do is I can just point him in the right direction right at the start, and now then when I play this, yeah, he is walking on the path. So less is more in the case of animation. There are many ways to do this, so I'm happy with how he's walking on the path, at least for now. It's not perfect, but for the sake of our animation, this will work. Maybe some more micro adjustments here if you would like to make it absolutely perfect. Also, it depends on where you put the camera and how believable it looks on the camera. So there is no point cleaning everything up to the T and hoping for things to look perfect from all angles. That's absolutely not needed. That is a pro tip. And once this is done, I'm gonna add another animation. I want him to maybe just punch a bit as soon as he ends here. So I'm just gonna come last frame here where the animation ends. I'm gonna go back to this animation track again, click on the plus button, click on my toot attack. If it throws this into another animation track, just click and drag on top. This I can only click and drag and bring it in the same track if I have selected the very same animation track to add my animation in. So once this is done, you'll see that it has a root motion again, so my character might be snapping to the back. Yeah, so we do the same thing. We bring it to the last frame. We select our next animation. Go on right click, match this bone previous clip. In this case, it is foot left. And now, but you see that just another small thing. Now, since we have looped an animation and added another animation with it, like this is a nice mixture. He's coming and punching, but we are seeing that there's a bit of a snap here. See, this is too much of a snap. Like I can tell that, okay, this cannot happen in real life. So just to make one animation come smoothly after the other, what we can do is, we can also do it for the loops that we have created here. So I'm just going to zoom in. I'm just going to click on this attack and maybe move it back a couple of frames. You'll see that Unreal automatically, I've just left clicked it and moved it to the left only by 2 frames. And you'll see that Unreal has already created this blending sort of a thing here, like it has blended the previous animation on top of the next. I can also do it from handles available on the side, but this is a better practice. So now if I go back and better, I can always click on these individual handles. The left handle is for the animation on the right. I can always increase this like this. I can also bring out a handle like this and see. if I'm getting any nice results. So good blend, still believable. So now I have some sort of an animation. The guy is coming in and guy is like throwing a punch. So once my movement is set up, I would want to maybe watch this move cinematically. So for that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some cameras in the scene. So I'm going to go back into my selection mode. I'm going to throw in some camera actors. So I'm going to go into Cine. I'm going to click on Cine Camera Actor and just drag and drop this camera into my scene. And you see that this camera is right here, looking right at the grass. So I'm getting a view of the grass here. This could be any camera, and I can just move it around like any DSLR, any cinema camera. It looks like a Cine camera, the ones that we shoot movies with, and you're seeing that it's giving me a perspective. Also, if I have to watch this entire screen like this, I can just go here into perspective and select, this is my Cine Camera Actor 5. I have other cameras in the scene as well. I was experimenting with some stuff. So just select I can also press F2 and rename this camera as test 1. But I'm not going to do that. You can name it as anything. I'm naming it as Cine 5. So it gives me an option here, Cine 5. And I am in the camera view. And by pressing my right click and my WASD keys, I can actually just pilot this camera around. This is the button to pilot. I'm back into perspective. Just make sure this is on. Or I can press Ctrl Shift and C and just move this around. And you will see that it's going to focus from a distance. It's not in focus. Don't worry, we'll just get in focus in a second. I can move this around and you see it becomes a lot more cinematic suddenly, depending on where my light is and everything. This is not a cinematography tutorial, but we'll also get into the cinematography bits of it soon. This is how the camera works. Like I can just frame it up as I like. I haven't focused anything. So if I just play back my animation, I can put my camera anywhere. I've just pressed the right mouse button and I'm using my WASD keys to move the camera around. So in the Cine 5, in the details panel, I have all my camera properties here. So if I click on focus, if I just type focus and I click on this thing called debug focus plane, so you see a small pink sort of a plane has showed up in the far background because it's thousands of centimeters away. So I'm just going to bring it closer. I'm just reducing it, moving it to the left. So this is just a way to demonstrate where the focal plane of the camera is. So if I bring it close on the body, you'll see that it has focus now. Also, after the focus, we would want the camera to have a certain kind of sensor, certain kind of lens. So this is my camera shooting at 16:9. I have so many different sensor sizes to choose from. I can also use the IMAX 70mm. It's one of my favorites. I can use 35mm VistaVision. I can also use IMAX. I can also use VistaVision. Anything that I like. For the purpose of this tutorial, I'm going to use 16:9 digital film. You can play around with these sensor sizes. And also I can dial in my own custom sensor width and height. Larger the sensor, more depth in the scene. Let's just say that. And I also have my lens settings. It's giving me a universal zoom. Let's just use like a 50mm prime on this. I can also change my aperture from here. This is a prime f1.8 lens. This is my focus. And that's it. There are a lot of options here in the camera, and I'll do a separate tutorial on camera, but this is just to bring some of your MetaHumans to life. So once I'm happy with the camera, I can just drag and drop this into my scene, and you see that it has already created a track called a camera cuts track. So this is exactly like how we edit videos inside of Premiere Pro and DaVinci Resolve. So right now there's only one camera actor, Cine 5, in my scene. So it has just given me the frames for Cine 5, Cine Camera Actor 5. If I like this to be my first position, if I'm happy with this as my first position, what I'm going to do is on Cine 5, if I just click on this small arrow here, you'll see that the aperture, focal length, manual focus and transform, these 3-4 things are always there to animate inside the sequencer, and we'll do the same that we did with our MetaHuman. So we're just going to go into the transform. We are just going to make sure that my camera is locked here. This is my first position, so the camera will always be locked here even if I move things around. Since I'm on the keyframe, so I can lock my position here. If I like this, this is fine. So now he has moved a little forward. So if I want my camera to just this would be a huge movement. So if I want my camera to just go back a little and look at him, and maybe I'm also gonna keyframe my manual focus distance because I would have to change it here. He's here. I will change this, and as soon as I make any changes here, you will see it will automatically create a key. I can also use just click on the manual focus here. It will open in the details panel on this side. Click on my debug focus plane just to be sure that I can trust my eyes. If I take my playhead back, yeah, this is too fast of a camera movement. So this is just for demonstration. You just saw what is happening. So I'm going to delete these keyframes. I'm going to throw in another Cine Camera Actor in my scene. So I'm just going to exit out of this for a second. Come back on perspective. I would want to start with a wider shot. Maybe something like this. I'm just going to throw in another Cine Camera Actor. Just frame it. I'm pressing W for movement. W gives me this XY transform. Pressing E gives me this rotation. So this is Cine Camera Actor 5. So if I go to Cine Camera Actor 5, I'm going to quickly throw this in my level sequence. I'm going to go to the manual focus thing, click on the focal plane, bring it in, just make sure my character is in focus, frame it in a way that I'm not really seeing the feet, as my feet is not the best right now. So maybe this, a decent enough frame. I will just add another transform keyframe here. But now on my camera cuts, there's only Cine 5, but I have 2 camera actors here. So what can I do to just make a cut happen? So if I click on my camera cuts, there's only 1 camera assigned to it, and I'm not seeing my other camera yet. But if I click on Cine Actor 5, I'm seeing my camera. If I press on Cine 5, I'm seeing this. And if I click on this camera button here, I'm locked to my camera cuts track. I can't move anything around. My mouse is not really responding. So the camera cut locks you into the edit and shows you just the tracks that you have transformed. If you want to make changes to the camera positions, make sure that you are on the respective camera and the respective pilot button is clicked. So if I want this to be my first frame and not that, so what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to reduce this. I'm just going to click on my camera cuts, plus button, new binding. I'm going to use Cine Camera Actor 5. And you'll see that in the space that I created by just clicking and dragging this other Cine 5 actor, now I have. So you'll see that it's going to cut to the other camera as well. Again, control scroll wheel, zooming in, it's going to cut here. So how to just get very cinematic movement, or like a cinematic way to capture this. So this is where it starts. I'm happy, walks off frame. I would want to change to another camera here. So don't worry, I don't have to move things around. I just select my Cine. I just select the track that I want to cut, press Control and /, and it creates a cut here. So now I have 1, 2, and 3 cuts. I hope you can see that 1, 2, and 3. So I just select the second cut and I select my other camera actor, which is Cine 5. And I'm going to go back to Cine 5. I'm just going to take it to a place where it looks more cinematic. Maybe here, or let's just say like this. It's going to be a very small shot because it's a close-up. So, but I like it here, so I'm just going to add a transform track and make sure my manual focus is here. If I want to check, I can always click on the manual focus here. It will open up in the details panel, draw my debug focus plane, check the focus, uncheck it. And now if I go back to my camera cuts track and play it from the beginning, and if I'm seeing these things, and if I don't want to see these gizmos, I can just press G. Everything is gone. Now if I play, and now he's exited frame here, I'm gonna press Control /, cut it here again, bring it back to Cine Camera Actor 5. In this case, go back to Cine Camera Actor 5 inside my sequence, click on the pilot button, move the camera, find a new place for the camera, maybe here. And if I want this camera to maybe like track with him, so it has added a keyframe, character has moved, I can bring the camera back a little, it has added a keyframe again because I'm piloting. So now if I go back to my camera cuts, press on the button here, you'll see, yeah, 1, 2, 3, back on the Cine 5 here. So I'm just going to go back on Cine 5, see where my character is. It's there, and I want him to throw a punch like this. Why is my camera moving? Because I had added a keyframe at the back. So it is just recalculating from that position. And since I'm piloting my camera, so it's going to show all my movements. That is where I use my camera cuts track to cut between cameras. So if this is the movement, I like it here, I like this. So maybe a little here. Click on the manual focus, delete these extra 2 keyframes, otherwise they're going to create, oh sorry, let it be for now. Wait, we'll come back to it. Let's go to my manual focus, use my debug focus plane. Yeah, things is in focus. Now I'll go back to my camera cuts, exit out of the focal plane, control plus scroll wheel to zoom out, shift plus scroll wheel to scroll. Now if I play 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What is happening here is that my MetaHumans animation is getting over, and so don't worry. What I can do is I can just bring my out point in and limit my animation so that it only plays till the point where I want it to. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I think that's it. So that brings us to the end of the tutorial. I hope you understood how to add simple animations to your MetaHuman, loop them, layer them, and also use them interestingly with the Cine Camera Actor. And in case of any doubts, you can leave your comments in the comment section. Let us know how we can improve ourselves. And always like, share, and subscribe. Press the bell icon to never miss a notification. And stay in touch with all things Basement Co. Thank you.